In this video, I'm going to be showing you 10 ways to have a plantain that would fit into your fat loss or healthy diet, and it tastes incredibly delicious, so stay with me. Hi, I'm Dr. Chef Chi, and I share very healthy recipes that you can make to fit your healthy life. So let's go. First on this list, I have a plantain lasagna. First thing you're going to do is to wash your plantains, peel the back off. After you're done peeling them, you're gonna slice them into very thin strips. You can use any shape you want, but just make sure it's thin because we're gonna be air frying this and we want it to cook evenly. So we're all done here. Now you're gonna put them in your baking tray. You can line this with some baking paper so that it doesn't stick, but just make sure everything lies flat. Transfer it to your air fryer oven to bake for 25 minutes at about 150 degrees Celsius. So now we're going to proceed to make the filling. So first I added some minced beef and some coconut oil, and then I added some spices and cooked this on low to medium heat till it was well cooked. And then it was time for me to add my tomato paste. I added some blended pepper mix, cooked that for about 2 to 3 minutes till it was well combined and well cooked. I just added some seasoning powder and added some vegetables. You can use any vegetables you have. I used some mixed bell pepper, some carrots, and some sweet corn. I cooked this for an additional 2 to 3 minutes and I took it off the heat. By now, plantains are well grilled. It's now time to assemble the lasagna. So first, you put the minced beef sauce at the end. You line it properly and then put the grilled plantain to just form a thin layer on top of the minced beef. Then add another layer of minced beef. Add your grated cheese. I use some mozzarella cheese for this. You can use Parmesan, also works. Then we're going to add another layer of plantains. Yes, so make sure you have a lot of plantains to work with. Add the final layer of minced beef and top it off again with some cheese. And we're going to take this back into your air fryer oven and let it just cook for another 5 minutes till the cheese is well melted. I mean, look at this goodness. Wouldn't you want to eat this here? So serve it up, just take out a slice. This can serve about 4 to 6 people. So let me know if this is your favorite recipe in this, because it's actually my recipe. Yeah. The next recipe is some plantain waffles, which I serve with some Greek yogurt and apple slices. So first you're going to transfer your ripe plantain to a blending jar, add some eggs, some milk, and proceed to blend them together. I also added some baking soda, some nutmeg, and some salt. Then I added oat flour and combined everything. So after blending, I just had a semi-thick consistency as I will show you. I brought out my waffle maker, proceeded to grill it with some olive oil so it doesn't stick to the surfaces. I preheated this as well, so make sure it's plugged before you start. And then transfer your waffle batter into the waffle maker and let that cook for about 10 minutes. That's what I use, but just cook till it's well cooked. So it was cooked at this point, and look at how fluffy it looks. So you can serve it with some yogurt, some syrup, some eggs. Just make sure that you have the right servings to go. The next recipe was some plantain and chicken burgers. So first things, I had to cut my plantains, put them in my baking sheet. So I put this in the oven to cook for about 10 minutes, after which I brought it out and flattened it because we're trying to make a burger here. So I had to flatten it out, put it back into the oven for another 10 minutes till it was well cooked. So for the chicken, I use some chicken breast. You can use chicken thighs because they are more flavorful. So I just put that into my food processor and blended it till it was well blended or minced. Yeah. Transferred it to my plate, added some spices. You can just season it as much as you want. I mixed with my hands to combine properly and set it aside. So I added some oil to my pan and heat it up, and then just used my hand to bring out the chicken, transferred it to the pot, flattened it out so that it could cook evenly. When it was about 10-12 minutes, I flipped it to the other side to cook well and took it off the heat when it was ready. I also made some sunny side up eggs to go with the burger, so you can either add this if you like or skip it. It's totally fine. So now it's time to assemble the burger. So first we're gonna get some of that plantain, add some lettuce, add the chicken that we cooked earlier, and then we're also going to add the eggs. Like I said, if you want to just add a little bit flavor to this, added some tomato slices and then another of the plantain, and the burger was ready. Look how simple it is to assemble, yet it was very delicious. So do you like this recipe? Would you be trying it? Let me know. We went to make our Pouleng DG. It's a Cameroonian dish which is basically food for kings, like for the leader, something like that. So it's basically plantain and chicken cooked with vegetables. So first I put my plantain in the air fryer to just cook while I worked on the chicken. I used chicken wings for this recipe. I just seasoned it properly, transferred it to my baking sheet and put that in the oven as well. The plantain is now air fried, so we can proceed to put everything together. So to my pan I added some oil, some onions and some garlic. Added my pepper mix, which is a combination of some blended tomatoes, blended scotch bonnet and some bell peppers. I mixed that together, just allowed it to cook for a few minutes, after which I added some seasoning and also cooked it for about 3 to 4 minutes. I also added some basil and some paprika powder. Then I added my mixed veggies and my carrot, allowed it to cook for a few more minutes before adding the already air fried plantains. You can fry your plantain, but I want this to be healthy, so I air fried it. And I also added the chicken that was air fried and I combined everything together. Please be patient here, everything has to be well combined. Added some meat stuff that I had in my kitchen, which made this a little bit dark, but it still look fine. You can skip this or add some water. It was just to loosen it up. And I finished it off with some spring onions and the dish is ready. I mean, look at this. This is definitely for kings. The next was everybody's favorite, I guess, boiled plantains and some vegetable egg sauce. So first things first, I'm gonna boil the plantain. It's easier to just leave the skin on the plantain so that you can peel it out when it's well done. So to another pan, added some olive oil, my onions, I simply sauteed the onions for about 2 to 3 minutes before adding the blended peppers and some sliced fresh tomatoes. I cooked that for about 3 minutes till the tomatoes were well melted before adding some vegetables of choice, some seasoning, some paprika, chili powder, some thyme and some ginger powder. Then I combined it all again and cooked it for additional 2 minutes before adding some eggs. You can use whatever amount of eggs you want, but I needed some protein, so I put the eggs in, covered the pot, allowed it to cook. It's called scrambled eggs for a reason, so you actually have to scramble it and just keep turning until the eggs are well combined and well cooked and it's ready. I just finished this off as usual with some spring onions to give it that little green flavor and look. next recipe are some plantain breads or plantain cake. I don't know, whichever one you want to call it is fine. So I had some ripe plantains. I tried to mash it, but it just wasn't working. So I brought my handheld mix or handheld blender. I just blended it easily. Added some eggs, some milk, and mixed it all together. After it was well combined, I added some oat flour, some salt, some nutmeg and cinnamon, and some baking powder, and then I mix it again. I lined my baking tins with some baking sheets, and then I added the batter in there. I divided this batter into half. Half was just plain, and to the remaining half I added some cocoa powder just to give it that chocolatey taste and color. I also added this to the baking tin, and yeah. For that extra touch and flavor, I added some sliced plantain to the top of the plain, the chocolatey plantain bread. Added some granola to one tin, and yeah, put that in the oven for it to bake for about 30 minutes. This is what it looked like after baking. Look how delicious this looks already. So I just allowed it to cool down and slice it up. Coming to my second favorite food here, grilled plantain and grilled fish. For this recipe, I'm using some local Nigerian salmon fish. Added some peppers, and which was blended with some scent leaves, some onions, paprika, salt. Just mix it all together and put in my baking sheet. Notice how we are baking so many things. Yeah, so this is actually grill. So yeah, the air fryer has baking, grill options, air frying, and all of those things. Yeah, so for that healthier alternative, it's much easier or better to just put everything in your oven or air fryer. It just makes it easy to cook, more healthy, and you have time to do other things. So that's why I grill or bake things a lot, and it uses less oil or no oil at all. So you might want to also adapt this method. So yeah, I grill this for about 25 minutes in my air fryer oven while I prepare the sauce. So the sauce is a traditional or typical boli from Port Harcourt. So it's just some palm oil. The pepper mix has some peppers and some scent leaves blended together. Added some seasoning. I usually add big fish as well to give it that notch of flavor, but I didn't have in this video. So yeah, it was time to plate it up. So some plantains, some fish, top it all off with that very authentic sauce, and oh my god, tell me, see, this recipe is one you should try and let me know if you enjoy it. I topped it up with some extra sliced scent leaf, and here we have it, delicious Port Harcourt style plantain and fish. Yeah, the next recipe is a plantain and egg frittata, everybody's favorite. So first things first, as usual, I'm gonna cut the plantain into the desired shape. I use some round cut here. I put that in my air fryer oven again, and then allow that to grill for about 15 to 20 minutes since it was thinly cut. So this is what it looked like after about 20 minutes. So to my pan, I added some coconut oil, some blended onions, sauteed that for about 2 minutes before adding some blended peppers, and cooked it again for another 3 to 4 minutes. Then I went in with my mixed bell peppers and cooked that again, after which I added some seasoning and just allowed it to cook a bit before I added my eggs. After adding the eggs is where the work is. You're going to put that plantain one by one to layer in the eggs. Make sure your eggs are not cooked so that you can go in there and be properly immersed. I just topped it up with some spring onions, covered the pot, and allowed it to slow cook for about 10 minutes. Do not flip. Make sure that everything cooks properly, and you will not need to flip this. This is giving plantain and egg pizza. What do you think? I decided to slice it that way as well, just to give it that vibe. So yeah, will you be trying this? Let me know. And if you've watched up to this point, I want to say a very big thank you, and do not forget to subscribe and turn on the bell notification. So our next recipe is a classical geese dodo, but we're not using gizzards for this. We're using some goat meat, so I call it Asundodo. So slice your plantains in some cube sizes and transfer to your air fryer or your oven. Yes. They're also going to chop some cooked goat meat. Yeah, like I said, we're using goat meat for this, and also transfer it to the oven because it has to grill for a bit. So now to put everything together, add some oil into your pan, add some pepper mixture, add some seasoning, add some onions, add whatever you have, just play with the flavors. Now your meat should be ready. You add that to your pan, add your plantains, and mix it all together. It has to be properly immersed. It has to marry each other. Then you're going to just season it lightly, then proceed to add your vegetables of choice. Notice how I'm using vegetables for everything here. Yes, it's important as well when you're on a healthy diet. Try and add fiber to your meals. This is ready, properly cooked, properly spiced, and yeah, just serve and enjoy yourself. For our final recipe, this one is what they serve to big men in my village. It's called plantain porridge. So yeah, I'm using some semi-ripe plantains here. I'm gonna slice that up, put in a pan, and added some sweet potatoes because I wanted something not just plantain. So I added some meat stock, pepper, onions, and some goat meat with fish and crayfish. So you see, it's well loaded. It's for the big men of society. I just allowed this to cook so that they will get to know each other very well inside the pot. Yeah. After about 15 minutes, I went to check on the porridge and everything looked okay. So at this point, if your porridge is not porridging, you can just take out a few pieces and mash it up and put it back there so that it can give you that porridge texture that you want. To finish it off, I added some scent leaf. You can use normal vegetables for this or whatever you like. I just like scent leaf for my porridge, and I did just that. Turned it for about 2 minutes and it's ready. So thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Bye.